I want to talk about a very popular driver that nobody currently talks about, even if I think he's the prime candidate to challenge Max Verstappen for this year's title. That driver is Charles Marc Hervé Percival Leclerc, Ferrari's prince that was promised, the one who will bring balance to the force, the boy who lived. Okay, that's enough movie references about Chuck Leclerc. Nobody talks about him because Lewis Hamilton joined his team, and the British media is drooling over that like there's no tomorrow. I think other drivers might get a little frustrated with that, or perhaps even insecure. However, knowing Charles Leclerc, this situation could be a major benefit for him. Let's find out why. I'm Wimbo. Here's 3 seconds to leave a like. Charles Leclerc finished third in the standings in 2024, only 18 points behind Lando Norris. He won 3 races and scored 2 pole positions. A very decent season, if I may say so, especially since he had a DNF in Canada and after Ferrari went in the wrong direction with their upgrade in Spain, which set them back months. He didn't really dominate any races, and some of his wins were due to Norris and Piastri fighting or Max Verstappen being a pest to Norris. Leclerc benefited from that on a few occasions, but he grabbed the opportunity and was pretty much faultless all season. How different would things have been if they hadn't lost this valuable time in development? The Constructors' title was only missed by a tiny margin, so in the history books it won't be remembered how good Leclerc was in 2024 because there were no prizes or glory other than ticking off Monaco and Monza as wins. Ferrari under Fred Vasseur is changing into a more efficient team, and that showed in 2024. There were a few struggles between Carlos Sainz and Charles Leclerc, but I think that's also due to the nature of Sainz's character. He's not an easy driver to beat or to put in his place, which is awesome by the way. This will be James Vowles' challenge for 2025. The Albon versus Sainz battle is going to be epic too. Okay, Charles Leclerc had an awesome season, which in my opinion went a little bit under the radar. I feel he's well prepared to take the fight to Max Verstappen, and seeing how those two race each other, it's something even I, as a Max Verstappen fanboy, look forward to. Leclerc being teamed up with Lewis Hamilton doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing for him. It was hammer time in the F1 news space the second week of January. The 40-year-old veteran started his first official work as a Ferrari driver, and boy did people want to see everything about it. Some of my fellow content creators made bank with hundreds of thousands of views about that first week. I made a video about Flavio Briatore, which barely anyone watched. Well, as we say in Holland, you can't throw 6 every time. We saw Hamilton in a red overall for the first time, and he showed up dressed as a mafia boss to take a picture with his favorite type of Ferrari. Photos with Vasseur and John Alken, and then we saw his first laps in the 2023 Ferrari. I didn't get too excited, but I can imagine that a lot of people were. Ferrari hiring a world champion has always been a big thing, although I can't remember how big it was when Sebastian Vettel joined Ferrari. Now, seeing how my Twitter timeline was filled with Lewis Hamilton at Ferrari and the crazy number of articles written by every Dick, Tom and Harry, it's safe to say that this isn't going to stop. Every tiny little detail of Hamilton's stay at the Maranello team will be posted and speculated on. The British F1 space is filled with hopium to see Sir Lewis win his 8th. The race made an article describing how the Ferrari car will suit Hamilton's driving style better, and maybe it'll fix the problem he has with ground effect cars, because it's obviously not a lack of talent that made him get beaten by George Russell. All this time, energy and focus will be on the man from Stevenage and not on the man from Monte Carlo. Again, any other driver might be upset about this, but I think for Charles Leclerc, this attention for his teammate will be like a lightning rod, taking away pressure from him. Charles Leclerc is a very modest guy really. He always seems genuinely shy and modest. He plays the piano and released his music, but even that is in a calm, not in your face way. He's made life hard on Vettel in those early years, however, it didn't leave a permanent mark on their relationship. The same goes for him and Carlos, who had plenty of words and issues, but they seem to love each other dearly. Leclerc isn't overly active on social media or busy with charities and such. He doesn't do extreme sports as far as I know. He's a very down-to-earth guy who would rather go unnoticed than draw attention. Those qualities are perfect in case you get a flamboyant, mega popular 7-time world champion as a teammate. If all the cameras are on him, Charles can sneak out the back and chill. If Hamilton does well, he'll get the attention. If Hamilton does poorly, he'll still get the attention. If Ferrari messes up a strategy for Hamilton, they'll take the fury of Ted Kravitz and his comrades. This all perfectly suits the introverted Leclerc, and seeing how he did in 2024, he'll get those consistent results. If Red Bull doesn't get on top of the issues that plagued them in 2024, then I see Leclerc as the #1 candidate to win the championship. For the Norris fans out there, I'm not leaving him out on purpose, it's just that I have a firm belief that McLaren will take their development too far and will suffer a setback. A setback that Ferrari and Red Bull have already experienced. So they are over that hurdle already. Sitting here in January 2025, my prediction is a title fight between Verstappen and Leclerc, with a whole load of attention going to Hamilton. The two protagonists won't care. The only question that remains now is who will get the most attention from Ferrari. If it's up to John Alcon, it's full focus on Lewis Hamilton. His prime goal is to get that Ferrari stock as high as possible, gaining hundreds of thousands more fans, on social media at least, I doubt they'll buy Ferraris, and doing something about the perhaps outdated Italian ideas at Ferrari. Initiatives for more inclusion have already started. And Lewis Hamilton will be an ambassador after his racing career as well for Ferrari. An A title for Hamilton at Ferrari would be a godsend for him and the business side of the corporation. If Leclerc is collateral to that, then so be it. It might be this way of thinking. Luckily, there is still Fred Vasseur. I have faith in this funny little man. I honestly believe he will not favor one driver over the other, and he will let them race. If one upgrade is done for only one car, he'll pick the one in the title fight, which will be Leclerc. I don't believe in teams developing with the wishes of drivers in mind. They will look at what the simulator says is fastest, and then in setup, the driver can adapt as best as they can to the characteristics of the car. That's why I don't believe Mercedes did much with Hamilton's input. They moved the seat backwards a bit, which perhaps already suited what they had in mind with the car. And that's it. Charles Leclerc has been with that team for years and has embedded himself there. Hamilton will work with a few familiar faces at Ferrari, but for the rest, he will need to get to know everyone and win them over. Serra and Ambrosio are new to Ferrari as well, so I don't know how much influence they will have right off the bat. Charles Leclerc will be just fine in the shade, pumping in these results. All to play for the Ferrari team in 2025. We, as fans, have a lot of entertainment coming our way. I hope you enjoyed me shedding some light on the Ferrari situation for 2025. If you did, please subscribe, and liking this video will also help spread it to more fans. I make 2 videos a week. I try to do a live stream on Saturday and a monthly podcast. You can support the channel by becoming a member for a while to see videos earlier and a special project I'm working on. Thank you for watching. Take care now. Doei doei.